Look at these photos. Men in sharp suits and polished shoes in these incredibly dramatic contorted positions on the concrete. At first glance, you might guess it's a fashion magazine shot by Terry Richardson or some other emerging photographer. But the men in this book aren't models. They're Japanese salarymen who pass out on the street of Tokyo from total exhaustion. Between 2008 and 2010, Polish photographer Pawel Jaszczuk documented these men. He packaged them into a glossy, magazine-sized photo book that follows all the rules of luxury publication, and he called it high fashion. Ciao, I'm Ningshi. This is my museum of everything I've loved. Fashion, art, cultural, decoded. To understand this book, you have to look past aesthetic and understand the culture that created it. Salaryman is a term for white-collar workers who show unwavering loyalty to their employer, prioritizing work above everything else.
To be good as a salaryman, we have to give up our dream or our personality. We have to give up ourselves.
Long hours are expected, whether overtime is paid or not.
管理職になる前はオーバータイムはもらいましたけど、管理職になってからは残業手当っていうのはないんで、もうないですね。同じ時間で。
週間で72時間ぐらいは働いてますね。いますし、100時間ぐらい働く週もあります。
And after work comes the nomikai, an almost mandatory after-work drinking party with colleagues or the boss. It's a crucial part of the job to show loyalty and build relationships. Pawel Jaszczuk originally just wanted to capture the simple contrast between men in nice suits and dirty streets. But over time, the project evolved into something darker. A humorous yet apocalyptic portrait of an overstressed and overworked society. Here is where it gets interesting. The irony of the title high fashion. These men are wearing the exact cultural opposite of fashion. In fashion, clothing is used to express personalities, individualities, and identity. But here, the standard black suits and white shirts function as an identity-erasing uniform of compliance. It's a total surrender of self to the collective. By day, salarymen are the agents of productivity, engines of the economy. Yet, by night, they are found crumbled on the pavement like discarded trash. The uniform survives, but the body does not. Looking at these photos, you can't tell whether these men are asleep or dead. And that's what makes these photos so unsettling. Pawel Jaszczuk's use of harsh, direct flash and his almost forensic documentary approach creates a visual paradox, a collision between the fashion spreads and the crime scene. In fashion photography, flash is a stylized aesthetic decision. It acts as a glimmerous spotlight to seduce you, to tell you what to desire. But in crime scene photography, flash has no aesthetic intention. It's purely a tool for recording evidence with maximum clarity to make sure nothing remains hidden in the shadows. If fashion photography uses lights to stage a body, crime scene photography uses lights to expose one. And Jaszczuk turns the fashion style gaze into a visual trial. We are no longer consumers, we are witnesses. And we are witnessing the aftermath of an invisible crime, the slow, systematic violence of overwork.
日本の企業は人を殺してもいいというふうに考えて多くの人たちを働かせているっていう状況があるって言えると思います。
Japan even has a specific word for it, karoshi.
過労死、長時間過重労働や、精神心理的なストレスによって発生した脳、心臓の病気や精神疾患、その結果として突然死をしたり、1998年から2011年まで14年間、年間3万人を超えていました。
What sent a chill down my spine is that we walk past exhausted people every day in real life. Yet they are invisible to us. In a society saturated with images, reality alone is no longer enough to hold our attention. If it isn't aesthetic, we simply scroll past it. Aestheticization has become our only entry point for empathy. We only care to look at these collapsed workers once they are framed as art. As Susan Sontag warned us about this decades ago, images don't just reflect reality, they manage it. They stimulate desire, they anesthetize pain, they make the injuries of class disappear by replacing them with a spectacle, something more comfortable to look at. Pawel Jaszczuk hijacks the visual grammar designed to sell us dreams, weaponizing it to expose a nightmare. He forces us to confront what we've been trying to scroll past, which is why Sontag's famous quote cuts so deep here. We consume images at an ever faster rate. Cameras are the antidote and the disease, a means of appropriating reality and a means of making it obsolete. High fashion is both at the same time. It is the disease because it takes real suffering and packages it into a consumable coffee table book. But it is the antidote because it used the exact same spectacle to drag you back into the crime scene, forcing you to see how corporate culture commodifies and discards the human form. And this book shows us exactly where our fetish for success, surface perfection, and endless performance ultimately leads. And what keeps me thinking long after I close this book is the horror of knowing what happens tomorrow morning. When the sun comes up, these men will be expected to wake up, put on their immaculated pressed suits, and disappear back into the insignificance of the masses. Work, drink, collapse, reset, and repeat. And we will just keep scrolling. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.